Hi, I'm Tolga, and I'm here with Brandon, who leads our MSP engineering. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Tolga.
I wanted to talk about how we deal with customer environments that we're inheriting as part of onboarding to MSP that obviously were deployed in all kinds of different ways, with all kinds of different tools, and you as an MSP team have to manage these. What's our strategy for that?
So for these environments that we're inheriting, we actually deploy into accounts what we call a suite of overlay tools. And overlay tools allow us to manage backup, DR, monitoring, and logging for existing workloads.
Give me an example of what that looks like. How do these tools work?
So these tools are deployed into different environments, and they're sort of off by default, and they are non-obtrusive by default. Customers can opt in by adding tags or additional configuration parameters to their workloads to sort of opt in to the services these tools are providing.
You mentioned, for example, alarm enhancement. How would a tool like that work tangibly?
Yeah, so since these environments have resources that have already been deployed into them, we'll actually scan environments for certain types of EC2 or RDS resources, collect out-of-the-box metrics that exist for them, and then create alarms with reasonable defaults for them. We can then, using parameter store, define workload-specific thresholds or criteria for triggering these alarms.
So you could take an environment that was maybe deployed without consideration for monitoring, or maybe that was hand-rolled, and be able to overlay kind of robust alarming and monitoring.
Correct, without interrupting the customer's deployment model, causing them to redeploy anything, update their CloudFormation templates, Terraform, or whatever it may be.
These alarms often follow some similar patterns, like CPU or load average. Do we have anything that can take that further?
Yeah, so AWS does provide a great metric and alarming framework for us, but some of the context is lost when these alarms go off. So you can think of it as, if you're an on-call engineer or a SRE, receiving an alert for some arbitrary instance ID or resource ID and some metric that's off, that's great, but what does that mean? You inevitably have to log into systems, collect additional information, and try to figure out what's going on. And sometimes by the time you're able to react, you've lost a lot of that information. So some of these tools can actually determine that, given this type of alarm, go collect some supplemental information. So a really common pattern is EC2 instances and the CPU. We can then react to that, automatically log into those systems, regardless of their OS, and start collecting information immediately, and then pass that on to the on-call engineer.
So you get all this value and all this capability on top of existing environments by just deploying a few tools.
Correct.
Besides alarming, in what other areas have we built tools like this?
We have others around DR and backups, so we can actually take existing Snowflake instances, sort of standalone EC2 resources that traditionally would not have HA or a good DR capability, and actually provide that to those resources in place, and provide things like cross-region and cross-AZ replication for them.
So how does Onica build and release these tools?
So rather than using third-party solutions or rebranding existing solutions, we actually built all of this on Python, CloudFormation, and other AWS native technologies like Lambda and Systems Manager.
So it sounds like a really useful set of tools for our own customers, but also just for the community at large. Have we released any of this tooling?
Yeah, it's available open source on GitHub by searching for Onica Group. They're all there.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon.